Hello and welcome to another Tinto Talks. It is that time of the week again where we learn more about Project Caesar and all of the things that are going to be coming out with it. As per usual, I got to do the basics. If you want to keep up to date and informed with everything coming out about Project Caesar, hit the subscribe button. If you like what you see, hit the like button and maybe comment down below what your favorite part of today's Dev Diary is. So, without further ado, let us get into it and learn about cabinets. Welcome to another Tinto Talks, the happy Wednesday where we talk about the top secret and very much unannounced game we refer to as Project Caesar. Talk about something rather new and more or less unique system. The cabinet is one of the core functionalities of the game, covering areas which in previous games was handled by envoys or mana, or may not have scaled nicely. The cabinet in Project Caesar is a core part of many aspects of the game. Last week we talked about characters, and we inferred roles like generals, admirals, rulers, and regents. We also mentioned two roles we were not ready to talk about as well. Being in a cabinet, while being a good use of a character, is not one of those roles. So you have two other things to look forward to regarding characters. And here we have a bit of a government screen where we can see King Edward III. You can see his stats, 70, 60, 90. Of course, these are out of 100. And looking into their cabinet, this there very much looks a little bit like, the panel on the right of Crusader Kings 3. But in our cabinet, we have Sir Robert d'Artois, who is increasing control in Cambridgeshire. And we have Sir Ralph Neville, who is pacifying Cornwall. This very, very much has echoes of Crusader Kings in it. Having only a cabinet size of 2, though, is very interesting. It's very much not what I was expecting. Seeing the little baby here, though, is that's interesting for sure. That's okay, fair enough. Of course, there is still a lot of controversy over the use of characters, the look and design of characters, and etc. But we will leave that aside for the moment while we look at the cabinets in Project Caesar. So they, of course, both have their own stats, and we have a cabinet efficiency determining how much they are able to, how well they're able to do their jobs. So I guess as your country expands, maybe you will have laws, maybe you'll have some technologies that will allow you to increase the size of your cabinet so you can do more things. That will be quite interesting. Can you trust Sir Robert, though? Who knows? The size of your cabinet varies on several factors. The most important, though, is how advanced your country is. At the start of the game, most countries will have a cabinet size of 2, while every age will add at least 1. Some government reforms or laws may also grant a bigger cabinet size for some other drawbacks. Who you pick for your cabinet matters as well, as each cabinet member from an estate gives plus 10% power to that estate. And it may not always be ideal to have a cabinet member of the wrong religion or bad culture, no matter how great they are. One example includes the fact that the Pope might be upset if you employ a heretic as a Catholic ruler. Okay, that makes sense. These characters coming from the estates also definitely make sense. I was wondering how they were going to manage that, because in CK, of course, you have a court, and then everybody within that court, you can put them into various jobs in your council. For Imperator, of course, you have a bunch of families. We know we're not getting families. So I was wondering, basically, how you're going to spawn these characters. So them coming from the estates seems like a pretty decent choice. There are currently 45 different actions that can be assigned to a cabinet position, and more are added as the game develops. Some of these are always available, some require more advances, and some are unique that only a few have access to. Each action belongs to one of 3 categories: admin, diplomatic, or military, which determines each attribute it's used for. Some actions impact the entire country, and some impact a province. So we have counter-espionage, same as in EU4, I would imagine, stops enemy spies being quite so effective. Developing province, monthly development plus 0.01. So that kind of confirms the existence of development as a thing, though it's clearly not the same kind of development as in EU4. I'm thinking maybe somewhat similar to the system of development in CK3. That could be quite interesting. Basically, not as a system where I click a button and it gets more development, but as a kind of a representation of just how developed. That's a really terrible way of describing it, but just how developed an area is. And I guess that's fine. Control and development both working in tandem to determine how valuable a province is could be interesting, as well as obviously population and buildings. We've got diplomatic endeavors, including improve relation and diplomatic reputation. Okay, so Diplo Rep is making a return, and you can set an advisor, or sorry, not an advisor, a council member, a cabinet member, onto it to increase your diplomatic reputation. Fair enough. Encouraging migration, giving pop migration speed and migration attraction. I wonder if these are, I can choose one of these, or it's I choose encourage migration and I get both of these. I think that's actually it. I think you're choosing the blue bar and it's doing both of these. That definitely seems more likely in my opinion. Increasing control increases both the max and the monthly control. Expelling people, allowing peasants to migrate, gives negative migration attraction and increases pop migration speed, doing all of that at the same time. I think that is what we're seeing here. Yes, I'm convinced of that now. Fair enough. That's actually really nice to see, especially the encouraged migration. Big fan of that. Migration in EU, not EU, obviously, it's not there. In Imperator was the best way of playing tall, really. So that's cool. Increasing control in a single province may be good, but it is only a single province. So if you're tall, then this works very well. If you're not, then it isn't. How efficient is a cabinet action then? The relevant attribute from the ruler and the cabinet member has a big impact, but your societal laws, reforms, and even some estate privileges can affect it, not to mention your crown power. So having a look here, we have the effective skill of expelling pops from Uppland. So you're getting 33 from Magnus. 33 from Magnus. I'm just going to quickly go to the previous dev diary because we saw Mr. Magnus in here. Yes, there he is. King Magnus has 33 admin and 33 military skill. So getting 33 from Magnus doesn't actually tell us very much, other than it's not a diplomatic effort. Well, actually, no, we can see that it's military right here. Okay. The fact that he's conciliatory increases it a little bit. The royal marriage rights increase it. The crown power is not very good at the moment in Sweden. And then 50 from Nut of Aspines, which I imagine is a councillor within Sweden. And then with that total increase, that's these added together, isn't it? Yes, it is. Then these are the effects of it. Okay. That's fair enough. If you want people to leave Stockholm, winter is not enough. I'm curious as to why you would expel pops from your provinces. I can understand it for trying to expel foreign pops from a province. I just don't understand why you would do it anywhere else. Maybe that's not something that I'm going to be utilizing too terribly much, because I'd rather more pops better, right? Surely. Speaking of migration, next week we'll talk more in detail about how the pops function when it comes to migration growth, how they change, and what they need. Okay, I like that a lot. Like I said, the migration system in in Imperator Rome was a really fun system to try and work with, though with a couple of caveats. Firstly, I don't want it to be possible to create these mega cities where you have one location where you just pile all of the population in through adding on modifier after modifier, and that would be the most efficient use of your population. I really don't want to see that. One of the most popular videos on my channel is me railing against that in Imperator Rome. I don't want to see that. I hope we don't see that. Yeah, basically that's that's a pitfall I hope they avoid. But other than that, seeing pops migrate, you know, clicking on a province, looking at the population, and seeing these like green and red arrows coming to and from the locations, based on, you know, where pops are coming to and going from. That's the opposite way around, but whatever. That was a lot of fun. That was something that I really enjoyed seeing. Seeing arrows on the map. You know, arrows on maps are fun to look at. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But as for the cabinet system, I think certainly there is a lot of inspiration, I feel, that's taken from CK here. It does look a lot like CK2 and CK3 with their council system, though these guys don't have specific job slots, right? You are putting people in the council, or in the cabinet, sorry, and then when they're there, you can then choose a range of jobs. And I'm kind of fine with that. Seeing you get an extra cabinet slot every single age, and then more besides, how many ages are we going to have? Because in EU4, if I remember rightly, don't we have like 8 ages? I feel like that's true. So we're going to have cabinet size of 10 and then more coming based on advancements and what did he say here? Some government reforms or laws may grant a bigger cabinet size for some other drawbacks. So I feel like generally we're going to be looking at 10 in the late game, is my imagination here. I obviously don't know for sure how many ages EU5 is going to end up having, but that is somewhat of my guess. And I know that in EU4, I'm pretty bad at it, but I do often leave my diplomats as being a bit too lazy. You know, I don't have them constantly improving relations with everybody. I don't have them doing what I need them to do, basically, to, you know, absolutely follow the meta. I feel like this could definitely be a situation where these guys need to have a default job, right? If I haven't set them to, you know, pacify Cornwall, then he should have a default job that he does that is beneficial to my country, but not as beneficial as these specific jobs. What that would be, I don't know, but something to make it so that if I put a guy in there and don't use him, he's still having some benefit to me. But if, you know, if that can be sorted, then I am pretty happy with that. I know another one of the controversial issues, I guess, with this dev diary is going to be the UI. And I just want to point out that the UI is work in progress. As per usual, I think this gets brought up every single time a UI element is shown in one of these Tinto talks. The UI is work in progress. There is a lot of time to go until both announcement and release. Plenty of time for things to be changed. So immediately hating on the game because it's got a UI that isn't specifically to your taste is kind of useless at this point. But other than that, yeah, cabinets look okay. They look okay. I'm curious as to what more jobs they can do, because obviously we haven't got a full list of them here. What we have, didn't it say there was like 45 different actions? And we've gotten 6, 7, 8. 8 actions that we have learned of. Actually, increased control. We have learned of 7 actions of 45, so definitely I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can do with them. But that's enough for today. Thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts about cabinets in the comment section below, so please do leave them there if you have any insights or commentary. Then yeah, let me know your thoughts. And also put them on the forums. There will be a link to it in the description below. Once again, if you want to keep up to date and informed with all that's coming out of Tinto with the Project Caesar, then hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.